And we're live. Welcome to another edition of the Star Wars Rewatch Podcast. I am your generous host, Luca. With me, my co-host, Big Jake. Good morning. Say hello.
Hey.
Still morning.
Good morning. Good to be back.
Yes. Thank you for joining us. We're still watching Maul, Shadow Lord. We're on episode 5 now, Inquisition. Mm-hmm. But please join us and let us know what your thoughts on the show are. Tweet at us, X at us, whatever the hell you want to call it, at SW Rewatch Pod. Join our Discord server. If you see what I call Star Wars in the wild, just anything Star Wars related, when you're out and about in the meat space, take a picture of it. And send it to us, whatever it may be. The last one I saw was, what was it? Chewie. It was the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon that somebody had put in their windshield to block the sun. And I'm like, that's cool. Chicago in July for you. Yes. I thought that was pretty clever and pretty cool to see. So send that there. Send us an email, Star Wars Rewatch Podcast @gmail.com. And of course, follow us on YouTube, Spotify, whatever your favorite podcast app might be. But I've got Big Jake here with me again, and we've continuing our rewatch quest of Maul, Shadow Lord, available on Disney Plus. I don't know why I'm promoting them like that. Watch it however you can.
They need the money.
Yeah, exactly. They sure do. Go ahead. Give us your initial thoughts. I guess, is this midway through the season? Yeah, because I think there's a little over 8 episodes, so we're starting in the latter half now.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
Well, midpoint, I would say maybe a little bit after. The Empire arriving. This is the second half. We're getting closer towards the climax of the season. Mm-hmm. And now that the Empire is here, officially things were already starting to get crazy before, but now we're in the second half of the play here, and this is when things really start getting tricky for our main cast here. So
the previous episode, which was Pride and Vengeance. Mm-hmm. Now we're starting episode 5, Inquisition. Yeah. The last episode closed with a shot of a Star Destroyer just zooming in over the city, just slowly pulling in right above the city, and this episode continued that shot. And now this time landing craft are showing up. They go right to the police station where Captain Lawson, Two Boots are at, and of course the chief, after their failed attempt at capturing Maul with the help of the Jedi in the previous episode. And Jedi, once again, on the run, but they've introduced a new character, which was Lieutenant
Blake of the Empire. Yeah.
Lieutenant Blake, which, who did you say he looked like? Or sounded like? Which one was it?
He kind of looked like Bill Skarsgård.
Okay.
Who played Pennywise,
okay.
Without all the makeup, of course.
Got it. Because I'm like, isn't there another Skarsgård brother that was in True Blood?
His father was in Good Will Hunting. Mm-hmm. There was another, his brother that was in, I think, you said True Blood or something like that. Yeah. The whole family's are all actors. But the
only reason I know that is because my wife, Sydney, has been watching True Blood, and I know he plays one of the vampires in that.
He just looks like tall, blondish, blue eyes, I think. He just looks like Norwegian, Scandinavian, Swedish.
Yes.
He's really tall too, so it's like he came directly from there.
Yeah. One of the things that I pointed out is he's snapping his fingers. So he shows up again, arms behind the back, arms folded behind the back, and chest up, with all this confidence and arrogance, quite frankly, about him, and just walks into the police station, kind of looks around, and is like, "Where's the chief?" And snaps his fingers, and she has to present herself and be like, "Okay, here we go. This happened on your dime, and you didn't call us. A droid had to call us. Explain yourself," kind of thing. And the Empire's here now, and they start their interrogation just right off the jump, and not pretty, as you see in a later scene, because I don't know, take it from there.
Well, I mean,
I saw your reaction to this. That's why I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, we spoilers. They take her off planet, and essentially, I don't want to go too far about it, but we don't really see her again.
Yeah.
So with the Empire, even now with it still being in its youthful years, that's not good. Especially now that we know that there's an Inquisitor on Janix now. And I think it's the first brother or second, something like that. One of the two more, but behind the Grand Inquisitor, of course. These are some of the Inquisitors that really mean business more so than the other ones.
Right.
Because the first, second, it's kind of by rank and by power. So these are some of the stronger Inquisitors, and leave it to your imagination, kind of what happens. So.
Right. You see, they cut. There's scenes interspersed of Master Daki and Devon, Padawan Devon, kind of running around. They've escaped Captain Lawson, or they've escaped the police capture, and now they've also escaped from Maul. Devon is reunited with Maul, but after spending what some would say is a not insignificant amount of time with him, in his own way. I guess you could say, would you say he's training her, or is it, what is the point of their whole interaction with one another?
Well, between Maul and Devon?
Yeah, between Maul and Padawan Devon, yeah.
Well, training, yes. I mean, he clearly sees something in her, and he wants to be able to... I mean, again, I think at this point, it's beyond just like, being good or bad. Like, this is like... Maul sees this as an opportunity to take an apprentice on to defeat the Emperor. Because at this point, he doesn't know about who Vader is, and he doesn't know who Luke is at this point up until Rebels, where Obi-Wan Kenobi and Maul meet again much later on.
Right.
So at this point, he's like, this is another chance. Because he lost his brother. Maul lost his brother. And Savage Opress.
Right.
So And part of me thinks he knows that the Rook and the other Mandalorians only Force sensitive users, whether it be a Jedi that he can corrupt or another Sith, can beat the Emperor.
Right.
It's not going to work with Mandalorians. It's not going to cut it.
And that's right. You do see there's starting to be a little bit of dissent in his ranks now that the Empire's here, because there's a scene where two of the Mandalorian warriors that work for him approach their commander, Rook Cast, and they're like, well, what are we going to do now? We didn't sign up for, Empire showing up. And she's like, get out of my sight. She's like, you pledged your undying loyalty to this man, and guess what? We're here to uphold that.
Right.
And she refers to him as Lord Maul, which she doesn't, I don't think she really has to, but I guess that's the kind of respect he commands amongst Mandalorians, because we were just watching, or I just showed you the Screen Crush video of their breakdown of the first two episodes and some of the Easter eggs. We didn't finish it, but he's like, oh, interesting. He's like, back in the Clone Wars, you saw that when Maul had rightfully taken control of the Darksaber, thus taking control of Mandalore, some of the fanatical Mandalorians blindly followed him, because as is their creed, and some of them didn't, and Bo-Katan being one of them, just refusing to accept his control of their population, of their society.
Right.
So you've still got Rook Cast loyal to Maul, but so you've got that scene interspersed, and then you've still got Vario there, the other mob boss that's runs an illicit smuggling operation on the planet. And they realize that this having the Empire around isn't good for anybody.
No.
And then it cuts to Devon and Daki just trying to get out of the city, but just
trying to look for insurance.
Everywhere they turn, all state stands. I
love that voice. I love his voice.
It's great. It's a great voice. A great voice for a Jedi Master. Because it just, again, the bass, it just commands authority when you listen to him. So you've got that, and then they've cut back to interrogation now, because I think there's I'm trying to remember exactly the order of operations here, because after Lawson's, or the chief gets interviewed, now it's Lawson's turn, and they introduce the new character, which was
the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
I think it's the first brother. Yeah, I think that if I'm remembering it correctly,
Marrok is his name.
Marrok, right?
Marrok. Yeah, I don't know what first brother, fifth brother, second sister, ninth sister, or whatever. I don't know how many it goes to. Is there? I
think it's the ninth, up to the ninth. Yeah, but behind the Grand Inquisitor, of course.
Yeah, Grand Inquisitor.
Yeah, so
and then so they introduced this Marrok character, which by this point, if you've been watching Star Wars Disney Plus shows, you know Marrok is in Ahsoka's TV show, and is one of the. I think the only way that we identify him as an Inquisitor is because of his double-bladed lightsaber, how he's able to spin it around. Which the only characters we've ever seen have something like that are Inquisitors, and now this kind of confirms it.
And in Rebels, they can fly with them.
Yeah, there's that. They do. You remember the seventh sister in? Did you play Jedi Survivor? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So you remember the first encounter with her or her boss fight where she, the dropship crashes, and then all of a sudden you see the hatch just get blasted out, and then she jumps out and then hovers down with her double-bladed lightsaber. Kestis!
Yeah, I mean, it's cool. I just don't know how it works, like physics-wise.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, man, this is getting super nerdy. I'm so sorry for those of you that just want to watch the show and move on. But a lightsaber blade, the beam itself, careful, it's hot, produces no heat and doesn't have any weight. So anytime you're swinging it around, that's why they're so dangerous in universe, because a sword in real life has to be balanced. Like, what is it? The handle or the hilt should weigh as much as the blade does. So you'll see all these videos of people putting their fingers on, like right on the hilt or right where the hilt meets the tang of a sword. And they're like, look, it's perfectly balanced or whatnot. And that's by design, because if you swing this thing and the latter half of it goes flying out, it could throw the wielder off balance. That's why like warhammers and clubs or whatever, where you see these gigantic, anime style swords and hammers. It's like, yeah, cool, but not really practical when it comes to if you miss, oh boy, and you're likely to miss because the amount of speed and heft that it takes to whip something like that around. I'm thinking of like Elden Ring and Dark Souls, like the style of weapons that they've had in that, which are, ridiculously oversized compared to the real thing. And it's like, how big was an actual warhammer? Slightly bigger than an actual hammer. Yeah. Why? Because you could move it around quickly and strike multiple times.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. But anyway, that aside, I do like how Daki's lightsaber kind of looks like just a pipe. Like he's clearly disguised it at some point to just make it look like a piece of pipe or plumbing that he carries around. But,
walking stick. Yeah.
Yes. Which there was a Jedi Master in Clone Wars that had something similar. He walked around with a cane, but his cane.
Oh, yes.
Remember that episode with Ahsoka? Where
I'm trying to think.
He's falling asleep in the library, the Jedi library, and she's looking for something or looking for her lightsaber. Some guy steals it from her, and then she's trying to beat him up, and he's like, Ahsoka! He talks like that because he's kind of an old doddering. He's falling asleep in the library. That's why it was kind of funny. But then when there was a confrontation, he, pulls out this sword from his cane. And
I like those little specific, unique, like idiosyncratic things that some of those Siths too, but like Jedis, like Maul with his, not Maul, Windu with his purple lightsaber,
right?
Stuff like that, and then Daki.
It's character building,
and
it is
makes them unique.
Most definitely.
Yeah,
But nerd details aside regarding whether a lightsaber has weight and whether it, I forget where I was going with that or why I brought it up.
They're dangerous.
Yes, definitely dangerous. And we were saying how, Inquisitors.
The flying,
they all have double bladed lightsabers, and they all spin around, and they all have that extra hand guard or cross guard on them. Which, if you want to wield it single style, is actually kind of a cool design. It's just this big round arc. Looks very cool, very interesting. I don't know about mounting it on your back like that, but whatever. It looks cool. If you talk to actual sword people, they might disagree with that placement. They're like, you got to have it here so you could grab it with your right hand, or grab it here so you could grab it with your left, or somewhere. But I digress. There is a really cool quote that I wrote down, because now you're seeing, now when they've shown Devin and Daki together, he's like, we got to get out of here. We just got to survive. And she's kind of just like, this isn't the life of a Jedi. Like, what? This can't be. And Daki's words are, he's like, it's your voice that speaks, but it's Maul's words I hear. And then the latter half was like, don't let his poison, And she's like, I know, Master, I know. But it's like, at that point, what do you think? It's too late.
Well, yeah, it's already getting to her. I mean, this is kind of the difference in ideologies that the Sith have versus the Jedi. Like, Jedi are like, in Daki's case, like, he's like, we do whatever we can to survive, if whatever happens, happens. Whereas Maul, with his experience and with him naturally being a Sith, I mean, he's like, we're going to take what we want through force if need be. So that's where those difference in, ideologies lie between the Jedi and Sith.
Right. Yeah. He's like, I compare it to like, Magneto and, Professor Xavier. Homo sapien versus Homo superior. That's what Magneto considers his species to be as mutants. Yeah. If you've ever watched like X-Men First Class or whatever, some of the best scenes are Magneto and Professor Xavier talking to one another, played by Michael Fassbender and James McVoy. And he's like, we have it in us to be the better men. And then Magneto's like, we already are the better men. Yeah. And, should be ruling. I think this is maybe more in the comics or in the Saturday morning TV show, but what is this power for if not to use it for yourself, for your own benefit? And the Jedi are like, no. That's not what the power is for. It's for the benefit of all, not for the benefit of the self.
But I think there's truth to both sides. Like, obviously, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and you could be someone who's like Palpatine, who takes it that far and is truly evil. Right. But then you can be someone like Yoda, who's naturally much better person, I would say. But like, things are not being addressed. Things are being neglected, and then there's things happening in the shadows, even before the Empire took over, where the Jedi were just neglectful of, who they also became concerned with politics and the Republic and all that, and they let things slide. Right. I think that when there's Force users like Darth Revan, who balance both the light and the dark side, like, that's kind of the best of both worlds. And not that Ahsoka did this, but Ahsoka stepped away, became, like one of the, what are they called? The grade? They're not Jedi, but she's like her blades are white, right? Because it's neither a Jedi nor Sith. It's like a neutral, something like that, right? More of a balance.
I think that was the design choice they chose. Right. I don't remember off the top of my head if it.
But I think it serves a purpose, because like she left the Jedi Order, and she's certainly not a Sith. Yeah. So she's if you're neither or, then what are you? Right. What does that moderation look like?
Yeah, it's like, because this is a visual medium, it's like, how do you use visual details to convey the story? So, like you're saying, she doesn't have blue in her. She doesn't have blue. She doesn't have green. So she's clearly. It's trying to say that she's not a good character. I think she is, because she still was a Jedi, but she's just no longer, part of the.
Oh, I think she is
order,
too.
The order itself. Yeah. Obviously, when they're red, clearly we know red is bad. The only characters we've seen that have red lightsabers are bad characters, which in this series is kind of interesting, because Devin has a green lightsaber, but suddenly Maul is giving her a brand new red lightsaber. So, and she's wielded it several times. Again, she's doing it because she's defending herself, but she could have just as easily not taken it. But I figure she's trained as a Jedi. Having a lightsaber, she stands a better chance than not having one.
Yeah.
But, sound effect for effect. But it's, in my opinion, it's just that visual cue or visual storytelling to try to say, like, here are your good guys, here are your bad guys. Yeah. And Ahsoka, somewhere in the middle, you're right, because her lightsabers have no color.
Right.
So she's not necessarily allied with the Jedi, but she also knows right from wrong, good and evil in this universe, and has used her power for good, even though she's not necessarily officially sanctioned to do so.
Right.
I think that's, again, they've probably covered it somewhere in the expanded universe or in the books or in the comics or something. But there's probably something somewhere that says, like, this is the process for when Jedi leave the Order. Because it seems like when you leave the Order, your chances of becoming a Sith come exponentially increase.
I thought they were called, like, Gray Jedi or something like that. There was a name for them. Not that Ahsoka is necessarily that, but, with her lightsaber color being white, which is awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
It's that's kind of like the quote unquote faction that she's joined, but not saying she's part of that. Whatever that faction is, I don't remember the name of it, but
you're probably right. It's probably gray. But because they like, what do they do? Like, I know there has been some like Tales of the Jedi that have also released, where they kind of follow around Dooku at one point, and you see his kind of fall to the dark side and whatnot. They do explain it a little bit, which is pretty cool. But I don't think I don't know explicitly how they say he left the Order, because at least in Attack of the Clones, they're like, no. He used to be a Jedi. Now he's a Count. Now he's helping out the Confederacy or whatnot as a separatist. But like, assassination's not in the character of a Jedi. Like,
right. I mean, I think Dooku. I mean, he was very smart, very sophisticated. I mean, next to Duelist, that's why his thing, his blades had that little shape like a saber, right? Which is why he was one of. I mean, he was trained by Yoda, his apprentice. I mean, he's one of the best, at least at the time, one of the best duelists in the galaxy. And I think with his fall, it was more like he was starting to see the faults of the Jedi, and like he believed that through the Separatists, that they would actually bring a better democracy to the galaxy than what the Jedi were becoming. And obviously, he had his own faults as well, but that's kind of, I think that's where it came from for him.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But you're probably right. They are called Gray Jedi or something like that when someone's expelled from the Academy or expelled from the Jedi Order. But
like nomads, basically.
It never really ends well. They should really strive to keep them in the Academy or find something else for them to do. It's like, hey, you're not going to be a diplomat-style Jedi. Like, you can join the Agra Corps, like Obi-Wan always feared he might. But anyway, the next scene is Riley. We follow him around now because hasn't seen his dad in a while, and they do show that there's been a progression of time, but they show him being Riley's dad, Captain Lawson, being interviewed by Marrok. Very, very menacing. The classic villain putting their hands on the shoulders of the good guy or whatever to try to, like, I could kill you now sort of thing, I think is the threat that they're making.
We don't see it on camera, but he starts massaging him.
Yeah, exactly. But you also, which you pointed out, the claw marks or the scratch marks in the interrogation table, which, woo, I did not notice that. And I guess that's what, when you're really paying attention, the visual medium. They didn't say anything. They just showed it.
Showing, not telling.
Yeah, exactly. The best kind of, take notes, George Lucas. We don't need all these ridiculous dialogue.
I don't like sand.
Telling us what people are thinking, what people are feeling. If if there was sand on the balcony or whatever, and he just started picking it up and letting it fall through his fingers or something like that, that would have conveyed a little bit more about what he was thinking or what he was feeling, or that he was, uncomfortable, or something like that. Or if he just brush the sand away or something. I don't know. There was plenty of ways you could have told the story of, visually rather than show rather than tell. But anyway, so now we've got Riley showing up looking for his dad while his dad is being interrogated by Marrok, the Inquisitor that showed up, and what happens here towards the end after he goes home. Well, he's kicked out of the.
Right. I mean, he's let go under no suspicion because he, when Marrok goes over to where the previous episode where they fought the Shadow Collective and they lost all those. Like he's we were talking about Marrok was, looking at the scorch marks of where the battle was. And most likely could probably have the echo ability to look at kind of what happened and piece things together like a detective. And then, that's where he validated a lot of Lawson's claims that he obviously told them.
Right.
But he goes back to his little apartment. Riley, Captain Lawson's son, called his mom, over the whatever.
They don't say her name, but
They don't say her name, but we were talking about, she was wearing a uniform that looks like an Imperial officer uniform. So
yep.
I'm thinking their parents are not together anymore, or at least they're separated because of work. But I think that, Captain Lawson probably didn't really approve of his wife going to the Empire, but that's only a theory. But then we are greeted at the end of the episode where he's like, "Hey, son," and then it cuts over to Devin and Docky, just like, "All right, public enemy number 1 and 2 are in my living room."
Yep. And I think Lawson says it at some point. He's like, or maybe it was Two Boots that said it. He's like, "Well, at least we're not harboring Jedi." Kind of a little foreshadow to what ends up happening later in the episode. But Riley, Lawson's son, calls his mother, and you clearly see she's an Imperial officer. But and of course she gives those typical canned responses like, just do what they're saying. What's the problem? Which,
which she would probably have to do because that line is probably being recorded.
Yeah, absolutely. She's like, hey, cooperate with what they're telling you and you'll be fine. And it's like, okay, yeah. These people have guns drawn on us, blasters drawn on us. One false move and boom. Yeah. So, like you say, she's being recorded as well. Unfortunately for Lawson, I don't know how Devin and Docky find their way over to his place. I think they've met up before. Or they just knew how to find him, or.
Well, yeah, they had encountered each other previously. I think in the last episode.
Yeah.
But I mean, Master Docky and Devin, they're Jedi. They know how to track. Most likely, how exactly they found him in that whole city.
Yeah.
Don't know, but got to push the plot forward somehow. So.
Yeah, exactly. They figured it out. I'm sure Docky had been on to him because he had been in, all previous other episodes, and eventually he approached him and
they just found his Instagram.
Yeah. He's like, I found your Instagram. You eat here a lot at this restaurant.
You put your location on. Yeah.
So it was only a matter of time because I could figure out which.
No, they use Snap Maps. They use Snapchat and they have the Snap Maps.
But that's how the episode ends. And we find Lawson's like, oh boy. He's like, now I'm really in trouble. Like I managed to, I told him. It's kind of curious how much of the truth he told them, because you see Marrok, showing up to where the battle took place, and him seeing, I don't know, he was seeing lightsaber. I think he knows that Lawson is lying because he sees way more lightsaber scoring on the scene than if it was just Maul attacking a single.
I think what it might have been was, he told them we saw Maul, we saw them, we fought them, we had losses, but as you were just saying, Marrok is like, this looks like there was a lightsaber battle, so he knows Lawson doesn't have a lightsaber, so who else had a saber if it wasn't just Maul?
Yeah, so now he's let him go.
Yeah.
And they're trying to the Jedi have been spotted earlier in the episode.
Right.
So they know now there are Jedi on the planet. So now Marrok knows that Lawson is lying. It's like, you never said anything about Jedi. We know what tripped us off is that Maul is here, which also a person of interest, but by far Jedi number one on the dance card for who they actually want to catch. Probably, I don't know. What would you say? Are the Jedi the bigger threat at this point, or is somebody like Maul a bigger threat?
I would say Jedi are still, but I mean, any force sensitive person that disobeys the Empire is usually top of the list. But yeah, Jedi is like the saying the word walk to a dog. Like that's the word that really sets them off.
Yeah. So it's going to be. Yeah, it's going to be quite interesting to see. Well, I mean, it's called the Rewatch Podcast because we're going to rewatch it at a date later to be determined. But we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Give us your overall rating. What do you think this episode is going to be out of 5 lightsabers? 5?
I would give it a 4 because it's
again.
A perfect setup to what's to come, the second half of this season.
Yeah.
As the name suggests, Inquisition. I mean, it's setting us up for what we're going to experience. So
yes, very good. I would have to agree with you. I'll give it a 4 as well, just because, again, the animation, which we were watching that screen crush video, and I think I heard a little bit about how he said they put paint on glass, or what did he say?
Yeah, so they had paint on glass. They had parts where they had matte finishes, which they did, I guess, in the original movies, and then they animated over that or something like that.
Yeah,
I did not know any of that.
Yeah,
and that I was like, they look great.
Yes,
it looks wonderful. So now I know how they did it.
Yeah, because I think they said. Again, I heard a little bit of. I stepped out of the room, but they're using. They put paint on glass, and then with those brush strokes, they digitize the brush strokes so that way you could, manipulate it in the software. Like, here, this is what the paint looks like. Photograph it. Now make a digital brush and let the software figure out. So I'm like you say. Probably not Adobe Premiere that they're using or Adobe Photoshop. They're probably using something custom in order to make it work, which good for them to pioneer something like that because it looks incredible. Yeah. And definitely looks like paint, which how do you achieve that effect digitally without actually, using paint? And it's like, well, turns out they did use actual paint. They just found a way to digitize it.
Look at episode 1 of Clone Wars, the very first episode, and then compare that to one of these episodes of Shadow Lord.
Right.
Just the music, the voice acting, everything. Wow.
Yeah, it's unbelievable what they've managed to achieve with it.
Yeah.
At this point, anything else you want to say about it before we hop, skip, and jump out of here?
Like, share, and subscribe.
Yes. Please, thank you for listening to the Star Wars Rewatch Podcast. Find us on YouTube, Star Wars Rewatch. I believe there's a dash in between the R and the E in the word rewatch. Find us on Spotify and use Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app might be, to find the show. Visit the blog, Star Wars Rewatch Podcast.wordpress.com. Join the Discord server. There will be links to all of this in the description of the episode. We've been banned from Reddit, so you won't find us there, unfortunately.
We have no.
Yes. But anyway, thanks for listening. Send us an email, StarWarsRewatchPodcast@gmail.com, and we will catch you in the next episode. Let's see here. Chewie, get us out of here. Everybody's favorite part of the episode. Especially my brother.
This is me going to work.
Yeah.